First, body weight and understanding what affects it. So yeah, classic worry that's going on with you right now and that's common with other people is, I eat more food or I had a splurgy day, therefore the weight on the scale should just go up. It could go down, and then you're like, oh, there's one day where not much happened and, the scale went up or something like that. How does that work? So the answer is there are so many factors, we need not assume why it's gone up or down. But when we go, we scale outwards to multiple days, that's when we can start to assume why or why not. So if it's going down on average, we can obviously see a trend. Even if somewhere in here it goes up 200 grams or it goes up another 200 grams, so 400 grams there, but overall going down. And assuming protein is high and we're weight training, I know that it's very, very likely body fat. This is just so you understand what goes on. All factors that affect body weight, the number on the scale is different to how much body fat you have, the adipose tissue. Body fat is stored energy. We consume too much energy, our body stores it as fat. That is different to body weight, because if you stand on the scale and I hand you a 5 kilo dumbbell, the weight is going to go up just because you're holding a 5 kilo dumbbell, but you still have the same amount of body fat. So there's the energy total of food. So if we eat in a surplus of energy, that's when stored energy is going to be. But these ones are the ones that have nothing to do with body fat, but will affect the body weight. So the amount of food that you have. So if you ate a whole bucket of carrots, even though there's not many calories in there, you're going to have a lot of physical food in your body. So therefore the body, it's going to go up. So if you eat like high volume foods for the day, it's going to go up. Or if you eat low volume foods, the composition of the food. Carrots as opposed to a bucket of chocolate bars or something like that. Then there's carbs, which turns into glycogen, which is stored in our muscle. So once you eat carbs, it just sits in the muscle fibers. It stores in there. Nothing to do with body fat, nothing to do with carbs themselves. It just sits in there until we're ready to use them, till the muscle's ready to use them. So if you have shitloads of carbs, you'll have more storage. The body can store up to like 600 grams of carbs. A lot of athletes will have that much carbs and just still not put on any weight. Which is why when people go keto, it has nothing to do with body fat, but they just deplete all their glycogen stores because they don't eat carbs anymore, and the body weight goes down, and they're like, oh my God, I've lost like 1 billion kilos. It is good for fat loss, but on the long run, if we look at multiple weeks, water, how much water we consume. So if I have 3 liters of water that day, there's the physical amount of water. Then there's how much water is stored in our muscles as well. And then the more carbs we have, the more the water latches onto that carbs. So if I have 500 grams of carbs and 2 liters of water, it'll latch on more, as opposed to if I have 100 grams of carbs, same amount of water, 2 liters, not as much will latch on and stay in the body. Water with carbs. Then there's sodium. The more sodium you consume, the more water you will hold in your body as well. Water with sodium. Then there's inflammation. So if you go on a big run, or if we take your half mara, for example, real large day of walking, the body might have been quite inflamed, which is maybe why the weight went up and sat here for a little bit, even though you had low calories and high steps. That's one factor. Or running, or just sick, or which is environmental factors, which is heat and how much you're sweating and all that sort of stuff. Alcohol can also, I think, affect inflammation, just depending on how people react to things. And then there's genetics. Alcohol is a bit unpredictable for me, because you also dehydrate when you drink alcohol. Digestion, how much feces and stuff like that is just literally sitting in your body. fiber also affects digestion. So you could slow digestion down, in which case you're holding on to more, which goes along with the composition of your food. So if you just ate a whole bunch of vegetables that day, like you could be clogged up from too much fiber. And then you could be constipated, in which case you may actually be losing body fat, but the weight's staying up. So it's just like the moral of the story is you should be going, oh, well, that's just freaking impossible to predict or understand. It's like, cool, we don't want to predict or understand. We just want to look over the long run, over a period of minimum 2 weeks, more like 3, 4, 5, what's happening, what's the trend happening. So if these factors sort of stay the same, which is what happens during the week, Monday to Friday, meal prepping the same stuff, same amount of water, same steps, all this sort of stuff, it's more predictable, which is why we also weigh ourselves in the morning time, after the toilet, before eating. So all of these could stay exactly the same. Oh, that's another one. So timing of data point. All that could be the same. Just the timing of it is going to change what's going on there as well. So moral of the story, don't judge body weight day to day, or even like just any sort of minimal few day period. We want to see it over time, same weighing conditions. We want to weight train, have high protein, and then we can judge weight. Okay, that's my rant on that one.